Dear viewers, I welcome all of you for this special day. Today is the World Blood Donor Day. This day is really important for all of us because this is a such kind of donation where we can't buy or it's totally self will. Total this blood donation day started on 2005 by joint initiative of World Health Organization, International Federation of Red Cross, and Red Crescent Society to raise awareness of the need of the safe blood and blood products, and thank to the black donor for their voluntary life-saving gift of blood. Blood is such a gift which is we can't buy with the money. But the taboo, myths, and so many questions are in our mind. People don't want to donate blood, and there is so many myths are in our minds. So today in this special occasion, we have Dr. Soibal Banerjee, CMOH Malda, Dr. Amitabh Mondol, Deputy CMOH2 Malda, and Dr. Midul Srimani, the District Magistrate, Mirik. So these three persons, they are going to highlight, they are going to let us know and discuss about the specially myth and the taboos of donating blood. First, I would like to invite Sri Midul Srimani for his discussion. Mr. Srimani, I came to know one thing from him only. He's the person who donate blood in each and every occasion. He said, whatever the occasion is, maybe his daughter's birthday, maybe his anniversary,
Birthday.
is maybe anything that he wants to celebrate, he donate blood. And he's the person who donated blood more than 50 times in a life. I just can believe it's a number. It's a 50 times. It's not a small number for a blood donor. But I really salute you, and I know that you are an inspiration for all of us who wants to don't want to donate blood and or scared of this or believe in all this meat taboos and everything. So Mr. Srimani, I'm inviting you on the stage and say about all this taboos meat and how you get inspired to for such kind of noble cause. Okay, please.
It was 3rd February, and before my birth. I born in the year of 1967, and in the year of 1962, on 3rd February, Nori Contractor, a great cricketer of India, he was the captain of touring Indian team in Barbados, and he and Dilip Sardesai was batting, and for a few seconds, Nori Contractor, he became unmindful, could not concentrate on the bowling. And the bowler was Charles Griffith. And the ball came. And in those days, the cricketers did not wear helmets. It was in the year of 1962. And the ball hit in the back of his skull, and he needed an operation. 2 surgeries were there. And Mr. Frank Orrell, the captain of West Indies, he was the first person to donate blood. It was an international event. His friends, Nori Contractors co-players, Chandu Borde, Polly Umrigor, they also donated blood. Nori Contractors' life was saved, but he could not play any more international cricket event. This inspires me to donate blood. By donating blood, we can save a life. In our country, so many persons, mainly females, suffering from anemia. And there are so many thalassemia patients. I have heard that 1 in every 10 citizens in Bengal is sufferer of thalassemia. Thalassemia is a Greek word. In Greek language, thalassa means sea, a seaside disease. And the nature created a mutation to fight malaria. And there was a mistake. Nature can do mistake. And by this evolved thalassemia. And even this day, people are not encouraged to screen their blood before marriage. If they screen their blood before marriage, then we can fight thalassemia. Even after marriage, before pregnancy, if they are cautious enough, we can prevent thalassemia. So a huge number of patients are suffering for thalassemia. They need blood. And so many of our youngsters, they use bikes. And every time I visited the medical colleges in Calcutta, I have seen in the emergency department so many road mishaps. They also need blood. There is a statistics. If all the Indian attaining their age 18, if they donate blood once in the lifetime, there will be no requirement further. It can solve. But in our country, we can do pujas, we can do yajnas, so many things. But nobody asks us to donate blood when you are going to 18. I think if the youngsters are encouraged by their parents, yes, you register your name in the voter list, and side by side, you donate blood and screen your blood before marriage. It should be mandatory in our country to fight thalassemia. This is my message. I may tell something afterwards. Should I tell something more? Hello, am I audible? Hello? Hello? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you can hear you. We can hear you, sir.
Should I continue?
Yes, please. Please continue.
Today is birthday of Karl Landsteiner, and he born on 14th June 1868, and in the year 1900, he invented the process of A, B, and O group. But before that, blood transfusion happened in so many areas. The first blood transfusion was done by Richard Lower. It was in the February of 1665. Richard Lower extracted sufficient quantity of blood from a dog and inserted blood from another dog to it, and the dog survived. And Robert Boyle asked him, he was of Royal Society, he told him, write your experiences and observations. And he wrote a book. Its name was Philosophical Transactions. And after that, in 1667, in this month, June 15, Dr. Jean-Baptiste Denis inserted blood from a sheep to a 15-year boy, and the boy survived. At that time, humans didn't start to give blood to other humans. It will be started later. And it was done by British Dr. James Blandel in the year of 1818. After that, there were so many transfusions from human to human, and even they started the process of keeping the blood, preserve the blood by sodium citrate. And in 1907, in New York, in Mount Sinai Hospital, Dr. Reuben Ottoberg, he used the ABO group and followed the process of Karl Landsteiner, and it was a successful blood donation. I will tell something next time. Okay.
Please continue. We are listening to you.
Okay. Blood donors were organized just 100 years ago. In the year of 1921, Organization of Blood Donors by Percy Oliver, and he was from British Red Cross. And blood bank were needed, very much needed, blood bank. Blood bank was established at Chicago, Cook County. It was the first blood bank, and it was done by Bernard Fantas in the year of 1937. Now we think about the different components of blood. There are white blood corpuscles, WBC, RBC, red blood corpuscle, platelets, and serums. And within the WBC, there are so many cells: basophil, eosinophil, neutrophil, so many types of cells. And people may need certain things and don't need some other corpuscles. So if we differentiate these components from a pouch of blood, we can cater at least 4 patients. I know that. And whenever I donate blood, I always donate blood in the medical colleges. I go personally to Medical College Blood Bank. I prefer Calcutta Medical College. It is in the green building. I prefer that bank, and I go there and ask there, please take my blood in separate pouches. Always it is not available, but sometimes they take my blood in that pouch, and I know that once I give blood, it can be given to 4 patients. It makes me very happy. And it was done by Edwin Cohen. He discovered this, that blood components may be separated. It is in the year of 1940. And in 1946, National Blood Transfusion Service was started at London. This month of June, is a historical month in the history of blood donation. It is the month on which Karl Landsteiner was born, and it is the month which is the death anniversary. 3rd June is the death anniversary of William Harvey. He is also a great personality if we study blood, Dr. William Harvey. And in 1667, on 15th June, the first person, a 15-year-old boy, got blood, but it is from a sheep, but the boy survived. I must stop now.
It's okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your all this talk. Sir, my question is from where you get that inspiration to giving blood every time.
I have seen so many people donate blood, and I thought that if I do something good for people, I can give money, but it is not mine. My blood is mine. If I donate blood, and if I donate my body, if my family members do that after my death, I will be immensely happy. I will request them to donate my body after my death.
থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার থ্যাংক ইউ মৃদুল স্যার একটা খুব সুন্দর কথা আমি শুনলাম মৃদুল স্যার যেটা বললেন সেটা যে আমি যেটা আমার নিজে সেটা হচ্ছে আমার ব্লাড এবং সেটা আমি দিতে পারি সত্যি এটা এটা অনেক বড় কথা অ্যান্ড আমি আরো আপনার বাকি ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড যেগুলো আপনি হাইলাইট করলেন এগুলো আমরা অনেকে জানি না বা জানার কখনো চেষ্টাও করিনি আজকে এই একটা ছোট্ট আলোচনায় এই যে ছোট ছোট জিনিসগুলো উঠে এলো না এগুলো সত্যি খুব ভালো লাগলো আমি এরপর ডেকে নেব ডাক্তার অমিতাভ মন্ডলকে উনি আছেন আমাদের ডেপুটি সিএচএমও মালদা 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 ডেপুটি সিএচএমও 2 মালদা স্যার আছেন তো আপনি আমাদের সঙ্গে মিস্টার ডক্টর অমিতাভ মন্ডল
শোনা যাচ্ছে
হ্যাঁ ডাক্তার একটু 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 জোরে একটু সাউন্ড হ্যাঁ
ওকে
হ্যাঁ স্যার স্যার আমি আপনাকে একটু হাইলাইট করতে বলবো আই উইল রিকোয়েস্ট ইউ টু সে সামথিং অন দিস স্পেশাল ডে and as I inform that you are taking care of this blood donation and other matters blood related matter for this district so yeah, kindly share your experience and knowledge about this and NDHRs. Thank you, sir. Kindly continue.
Okay. Man has still not cracked the formula of manufacturing blood in labs. It can only come from generous donor like you. So do it. Blood donation is a great gesture to help the needy people or those who are in need of the blood. There are many health issues which remain silent until it is in a late stage. There are some beneficial side of donor also. We do not easily notice the early warning signal of health conditions such as hypertension, cancer, diabetes, kidney disease, etc. If we donate blood regularly, then there is a checkup, a medical checkup before we donate blood. So we, in early stage, we know our health condition, different type of health condition like hypertension, diabetes, etc. This is one thing, and also every 2 seconds someone need blood in for different reasons like road traffic accident or different type of operations, and also thalassemia patients. And in case of if we donate blood, it helps to diagnose early in different type of hepatitis like hepatitis B, C, etc. And we all know now the different type of selection criteria of donor. Some recapitulation here. The minimum age for blood donation is 18 and maximum age is 65. But first time donor shall not be over 60 years of age. In case of first time donor, the age should be within 18 to 65. And minimum weight for a blood donor is 45 kg, and only 450 milliliter of blood is needed in blood donation. And uh, actually our RBC only live 120 days, and in our body there are some RBC 40 days old, some 60 days old, some 120 days old. If we donate blood, then the replacement within the body within 28 days or like that. So uh, and for whole blood donation, uh, 1 in 3 months in case of male, and 1 in 4 months in case of female. And their hemoglobin percentage should be more than 12, more than or equal to 12.5 gram per deciliter. In Malda, in Vision 2020, our target is all the blood came from voluntary blood donation. But in Malda, we see that only 33 or 34% blood came from the voluntary blood donation, and the rest from replacement donor. In 2020, we need 21,000 pouch of blood, but only 6,817 blood we collect from voluntary blood donation. So it is high time to react in blood donation, and uh, we should donate our blood to combat this situation.
Sir, please continue. We can hear you. স্যার স্যার একটু আপনি যেটা বললেন একটু আমরা একটু দু একটা লাইন একটু বাংলায় শুনতে পারি, দু একটা লাইন যে যেগুলো মিথগুলো আছে, এত কিছু ডিটেলসে নয়, ওই জায়গাগুলো যেগুলো আমরা একটু বলছিলাম যে কারা দিতে পারবে এবং কেন দিতে পারবে না, এই
ঠিক আছে।
জায়গাটা জাস্ট এই জায়গাটা যদি একটু বাংলা একবার রিপিট করেন খুব ভালো লাগবে।
ঠিক আছে, অ্যাকচুয়ালি যে ক্রাইটেরিয়াগুলো আছে, একজন ব্লাড ডোনারকে মানে তার স্বাস্থ্যটা ভালো থাকতে হবে এবং তিনি মেন্টালি যাতে ফিট
স্যার একটু
থাকেন এরকম,
একটু
মানে যারা
আপনার আওয়াজটা একটু কম আসছে স্যার, একটু আওয়াজটা
হ্যাঁ
কম আসছে।
ঠিক আছে, তিনি মানে গুড হেলথ হতে হবে, মেন্টালি অ্যালার্ট। এবং আমরা সাধারণত মনে করি আমার হেলথ হয়তো গুড নয়, আমি কিন্তু অ্যাকচুয়ালি প্রত্যেকটা ব্লাড ডোনেশনের ক্যাম্পে মেডিকেল অফিসার থাকেন, তিনি তার ফিজিক্যাল এবং মেন্টাল কন্ডিশন চেক করে নেন। সুতরাং এটাই কোনো অসুবিধে নেই। 18 বছর বয়স হতে হবে এবং 18 থেকে 65-র মধ্যে এজটা হতে হবে। কিন্তু ফার্স্ট টাইম ডোনার যিনি প্রথমবার রক্ত দিতে আসছেন, তাকে 60-এর নিচে বয়স হওয়াটা বাধ্যতামূলক। এবং আমাদের মালদায় এখন আমরা দেখছি যে অনেক সামাজিক অনুষ্ঠানগুলোতে ব্লাড ডোনেশন শুরু হয়েছে, এটা খুব ভালো। যেরকম জন্মদিনে, যেরকম বিয়ে বাড়িতে বা বিবাহ বার্ষিকীতে, এই সবগুলোতেও ব্লাড ডোনেশন আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি। কালকেই বিবেক বাহিনী বলে আমাদের এখানে একটা এনজিও আছেন, তার যিনি সেক্রেটারি, তার জন্মদিন ছিল, তারা ব্লাড ডোনেট করেছেন মানে কালকে। তো এইরকম বিভিন্ন সামাজিক অনুষ্ঠানে দেওয়া হচ্ছে। মেয়েরা বছরে মানে 4 মাস অন্তর দিতে পারবেন, বছরে 3 বার। ছেলেরা 90 দিন ছাড়া ছাড়া মানে বছরে 4 বার ব্লাড ডোনেট করতে পারেন। মিনিমাম ওয়েট হতে হবে 45 কেজি। এবং আমরা অনেক সময় দেখেছি যে খুব স্বাস্থ্যবান লোকও তাই প্রথমবার ব্লাড ডোনেট করতে হয়তো উৎসাহিত হয়ে এগিয়ে এসছেন, কিন্তু মানে দেওয়ার পরে তার একটা ফেন্টিং অ্যাটাক বা এরকম হয়েছে, সেটা পিওরলি মেন্টাল ব্যাপার এবং তাকে অ্যাসিওর করলে সেই ব্যাপারটা হয় না।
স্যার মেন্টাল
এটা আমরা
হেলথটা
দেখতে
আপনারা কিভাবে চেক করেন? মেন্টাল হেলথ যেটা বারবার
না,
বলছেন আপনি?
না এটা তো তাদের সঙ্গে কথা বললেই বোঝা যায় এবং যিনি নতুন দিতে আসছেন তিনি তার আগে যারা দিচ্ছেন তাদের উৎসাহ দেখেই তার যে উৎসাহটা তৈরি হয় তাতে করে একটা পজিটিভ থিঙ্ক আসে এবং তার জন্য ব্যাপারটা কোনো প্রবলেম হয় না। আর একটা জিনিস হচ্ছে যে আমরা বিভিন্ন ক্যাম্পে দেখি যে ক্যাম্পের পরে একটা টিফিন বা এরকম ব্যবস্থা থাকে। মানে অ্যাকচুয়ালি কিছু জল মানে কিছু ফ্লুইড খেলেই কিন্তু তার যে ফ্লুইডটার রিপ্লেসমেন্ট হয়ে যায় আর কি। সুতরাং এটার কোনো
কতদিন?
প্রবলেম নেই।
কতদিন? আমরা আপনাদের বারবার আমরা একটা কথা বলি যেটা হচ্ছে ৩ মাস। ৩ মাসটা আমরা কেন বলি? সেটা যদি একটু
৩ মাস
বলেন।
৩ মাস বলি কিন্তু অ্যাকচুয়ালি মোটামুটি 28 টু 56 ডে এর মধ্যেই কিন্তু রিপ্লেসমেন্টটা তার হয়ে যায়। সুতরাং এটা কোনো প্রবলেম হয় না এবং
মানে
অ্যাকচুয়ালি
খাওয়া-দাওয়ার
আমাদের
কোনো এক্সট্রা কিছু করার দরকার নেই?
এক্সট্রা এক্সট্রা কিছু করার দরকার নেই। নরমালি আমরা যা খাই তাতেই হবে এবং আমাদের তো অনেকগুলো মিথ আছে যে আমরা এই খাবারটায় বেশি আয়রন আছে বা ওইটায় আছে। সেইগুলো কোনো ব্যাপার না। নরমাল ডায়েট যদি আমরা কেউ খাই তাহলেই হতে পারে। অ্যাকচুয়ালি মানে আমাদের গরমের দেশ তো যদি আমরা ব্লাড ডোনেট করি তারপরে কিছুক্ষণ শুয়ে বসে থাকি ০.৫ ঘন্টা মতো এবং মানে কিছুটা জল পান করি তাহলে আমাদের ফ্লুইড রিপ্লেসমেন্টটা তখনই হয়ে যায়। সেলগুলো রিপ্লেসমেন্ট হতে একটু টাইম লাগে। তার জন্যই আমাদের ৩ মাস ছেলেদের ক্ষেত্রে এবং আমাদের দেশের মেয়েরা যেহেতু একটু অ্যানিমিয়ায় ভোগেন তাদের বেশিরভাগ লোকেরই মানে মহিলাদের ভদ্রমহিলাদের দেখা গেছে যে তাদের হিমোগ্লোবিন পার্সেন্টেজ কম থাকে তার জন্য তাদের ৪ মাস অন্তর অন্তর এটা করা হয় এবং যেহেতু মানে ব্লাড ডোনেট করলে কিন্তু আমাদের যেখান থেকে ব্লাডগুলো তৈরি হয় বোন ম্যারোগুলো কিন্তু উজ্জীবিত হয় এবং মানে আমাদের রিপ্লেসমেন্ট হয়ে যায়। আমি যেটা বলছিলাম যে আমাদের যেহেতু আরবিসি গুলো ১২০ দিন বাঁচে কিন্তু আমার এই টাইমে যদি আমার শরীরের আরবিসি গুলোকে দেখা যায় অনেকগুলো ব্লাড মানে আরবিসি আছে যাদের হয়তো ২০ দিন বয়স, কারো আছে ৪০ দিন, কারো ৬০ দিন, কারো ১২০ দিন, কালকে সেই আরবিসি গুলো মরে যাবে। তো সুতরাং আমি যদি এই মোমেন্টে রক্ত দিই তাহলে কিন্তু ১২০ দিন লাগছে না রিপ্লেসমেন্ট হতে, কারণ অনেকগুলো আছে যাদের মানে ১২০ দিন, ১১০ দিন, ১০০ দিন বয়স, মানে সেইগুলো ১০ দিন, ২০ দিন বা একদিন পরেই সেই আরবিসি গুলো মরে যেত, তার জায়গায় নতুন আরবিসি হতো। সুতরাং
আ
মানে খুব তাড়াতাড়ি রিপ্লেসমেন্টটা হয়ে যায়, এটা নিয়ে চিন্তার কোনো কারণ নেই। এবং আমাদের এখানেও মালদায় অনেকে আছেন যারা ১০০ বারের উপরেও ব্লাড ডোনেট করেছেন, তাদের কোনো অসুবিধে হয় না এবং এখন দেখা যাচ্ছে যে ব্লাড ডোনেট করলে স্ট্রোক, ক্যান্সার এইসব জিনিসগুলো মানে রোগগুলো কম হয়। এবং পুরোনো দিনের ইতিহাসে যদি আমরা ফিরে যাই দেখবো বাবরনামা যদি আমরা পড়ি তখনকার দিনে হাইপার টেনশনের একটা ট্রিটমেন্ট ছিল রক্তমোক্ষণ, মানে শিরা একটা ফুটো করে সেখান থেকে ব্লাডটা কিছুটা বার করে দিয়ে ব্লাড প্রেশারটা কমানো হতো। তো এই জিনিসগুলো তো আমরা এর মাধ্যমে এখনো কিন্তু মানে আয়ুর্বেদিক মেডিসিনের লিস্ট থেরাপি করা হয় হাইপারটেনশন বা অন্য কিছুতে, যাতে আমাদের শরীরের ভলিউম ব্লাড ভলিউমটা কিছু কমিয়ে দিয়ে হার্টের উপর থেকে প্রেশারটা কমানো যায়।
আচ্ছা স্যার, আরেকটা ব্যাপার আমরা বলবো যেটা প্রতি বছর আমরা শুনতে পাই যে গরমকালে ব্লাডের একটা সংকট দেখা দিয়েছে। আর একটা স্পেশাল জিনিস আমি বলবো লাস্ট 1.5 ইয়ার্স আমরা যে একটা কি বলবো প্রচন্ড টাফ একটা টাইমের মধ্যে দিয়ে যাচ্ছি, সেই সময় দাঁড়িয়ে আপনাদের কি ধরনের, আপনি যেহেতু মালদা ডিস্ট্রিক্টের আহ এই ব্যাপারটা পুরোটা দেখেন, এটা শুধু তো মালদা ডিস্ট্রিক্ট নয়, সারা পশ্চিমবঙ্গ এবং সারা ভারতবর্ষে একই সমস্যা হওয়া উচিত। সেটা সমস্যা দেখা দিয়েছে ব্লাড ডোনেশনের। এখানে আমি একটু আপনাকে হাইলাইট করতে বলবো যে আমরা ভ্যাকসিনেশন এর যে ব্যাপারটা চলছে, মানে ভ্যাকসিনেশন প্যান্ডেমিকের ভ্যাকসিনেশনের যে ব্যবস্থা চলছে, তার কতদিন পরে অবধি ব্লাডটা দিতে পারবো না, এই ব্যাপারটা একটু জানানো এবং আপনার এক্সপিরিয়েন্স কি এই সময়ে ব্লাড না পাওয়া এবং প্যান্ডেমিকের সময় যে একটা সংকট তৈরি হয়েছে সেই ব্যাপারে।
এখানে একটা কথা বলে রাখি, সেটা হচ্ছে প্রতি বছরই এই গরমকালের সময় আমরা দেখি যে ব্লাড ডোনেশন লোকে আমরা যেরকম অনেকগুলো মিথে বিশ্বাস করি, তো গরমকালে আমরা বিশ্বাস করি যে এখন আমাদের শরীরে ফ্লুইড কমে যাচ্ছে তাই জন্য এখন ব্লাড দিলে হয়তো অসুবিধা হবে, এইটা একটা আমাদের ভীতি আছে। আর আমাদের সুমিত স্যারের উদ্যোগে আমরা একটা ব্লাড মানে মোবাইল ভ্যান পেয়েছি এবং এতে করে কোভিড সিচুয়েশনে যেটা বলা হয়েছিল যে এক জায়গায় বেশি লোক যাতে গ্যাদার না করে তাতে করে মানে কোভিডটা ছড়িয়ে পড়তে পারে, সংক্রমণটা বাড়তে পারে। তো এই ক্ষেত্রে আমরা একই রুটে কিন্তু ৩টে বা ৪টে জায়গায় একদিনে ব্লাড কালেক্ট করতে পারি, ছোট ছোট ক্যাম্প হয়, ওই ব্লাড ডোনেশনের যে ভ্যাকসিন মানে ভ্যানটা আছে তার মধ্যেই মানে যারা ব্লাড ডোনার তারা তার মধ্যে শুয়ে শুয়েই ব্লাডটা দিতে পারেন এটা একটা খুব ভালো জিনিস হয়েছে। তাতে করে আমরা এক দিনে ৪টে করা হচ্ছে না, ৩টে জায়গায় আমরা একই রুটের মধ্যে করছি। তাতে করে ৩টে টাইম ফিক্স করা হচ্ছে এবং যারা ব্লাড ডোনেশন গুলো করতে আগ্রহী সেই সব এনজিও ক্লাবগুলো এগিয়ে আসছেন এবং ছোট ছোট করে ক্যাম্প বিভিন্ন জায়গায় হচ্ছে। তাতে করে আমরা কিন্তু অ্যাকিউট ক্রাইসিসটা কিছুটা কভার করতে পারছি। মানে করোনার জন্য মালদার খুব অসুবিধা হয়েছে তা নয়। এটা প্রতি গ্রীষ্মকালেই আমাদের এটা সমস্যা যে আমাদের, আমি যেটা বললাম যে 33 থেকে 35% মাত্র ব্লাড আমরা কালেক্ট করতে পারি ভলান্টারি ডোনার দিয়ে, অন্য ডোনেশন মানে রিপ্লেসমেন্ট ডোনার দিয়ে আমাদের করতে হয়। এটা একটা। আর নিউয়ার যেটা গাইডলাইন বেরিয়েছে সেটাতে হচ্ছে কেউ যদি কোভিড আক্রান্ত হন তিনি মানে সাইন সিমটম চলে যাওয়ার 14 দিন পরে বা তিনি আরটিপিসিআর নেগেটিভ হওয়ার 14 দিন পরে কিন্তু ব্লাড দিতে পারেন এবং ভ্যাকসিনেশনের ক্ষেত্রেও তাই। তিনি যদি ভ্যাকসিনেশন নেওয়া থাকে তাহলে তার 14 দিন পরে নিউয়ার গাইডলাইনে তিনি ব্লাড ডোনেট করতে পারবেন। সুতরাং এইটা খুব একটা অসুবিধে নেই, কারণ এক একটা এনজিও বা ক্লাবগুলো এখানে হয়তো বছরে 2বার বা 3বার ব্লাড ডোনেশন করেন, কেউ কেউ বেশি করেন। তো তাদের সদস্যদের সেইভাবে তারা অ্যাকুমুলেট করেন, সেটা নিয়ে কোনো অসুবিধা নেই।
ধন্যবাদ স্যার আপনার মূল্যবান পরামর্শের জন্য। থ্যাংক ইউ, থ্যাংকস এ লট। নাও আই এম গোয়িং টু invite Dr. Shoibal Banerjee, our guide in this whole program. Dr. Banerjee is CMOH Malda, and I invite you to the stage and guide us, sir. For you, from you, we want to know all the pros and cons of blood donation and what is the benefit. Few of the points Dr. Mondal already covered, but I think you can add some more points. And one more thing, your message to all of us to motivate us to donate our blood. Sir, please.
Thank you, Nafisa, very much. After Mr. Srimani and Dr. Mondal has covered many a topic regarding blood donation, I have left with very little to share. Number one, before going to the pros and the cons of blood donation, I'll just highlight the steps of blood donation as Dr. Mondal has already declared and explained. The age group for blood donation is 18 to 65 for both genders. Number one. Previously, it was 18 to 60. Now, WHO has increased the upper limit to the 65 age. Number one. And why 18? It is the legal age for giving consent. It's a donation. It's a donation of the precious material of the body, and frequent donation. You can donate it n number of times, 4 times a week, every 3 months. An adult, that is 18 to 65 years age group person, can donate the blood. Number one. Number two, I repeated, irrespective of the gender, one can donate the blood. The basic criteria, that is the age and other things, that will be maintained. Before I deviate to some other topic, there are 5 mandatory tests a donated blood is subjected to before transfusion to a person who needs it. These 5 mandatory tests that is specific for Indian subcontinent for 3 virus, 1 parasite and 1 bacteria. The virus is, the disease is hepatitis B, HIV and hepatitis C. The parasite is malarial 1 and the bacteria is syphilis. So these 5 tests are being done on every donated blood after receiving the blood in the blood bank, where there are facilities for testing for 5 such tests. If positive of any report comes, the blood is discarded following norms. Number 1. So I think that every person, the patient or his relative or the party who receives the blood.
Sir, I will interrupt. If you get a report that the person is affected with these three diseases, is the blood bank, is the responsibility of the blood bank to know this donor that he is suffering with the disease? Is there any mechanism like that?
Well, before a blood camp is organized, blood donation is organized, there is a screening test. I mean, the verbal screening test, as Dr. Mondal has already said, judging the mental and physical fitness. There are means of physical fitness, but as you have aptly questioned, how do you judge the mental capability? So these questions, which is put to a prospective donor, the past history, both physical and mental, the history of jaundice, history of any sexually transmitted disease, history of malaria in the recent past. All these questions have to be mandatorily filled in the blood donation form. So after the initial screening has been done, the blood bank has to depend on the laboratory evidence of the presence of any of the 5 diseases in the collected samples. If any sample becomes positive, it is discarded. I think this is precisely you wanted to know, ma'am. This is precisely you wanted to know. If
Yes,
some
sir,
test
I
becomes
want to
positive,
know, then yes, if the test is positive, is there any mechanism that blood bank again go back to the donor and let him or her know that he is suffering from this disease after the this laboratory test? I'm talking about the laboratory test.
excellent question. Actually, I was waiting for this. Previously, in yesteryears, there was no such system or guideline from the government of India, National AIDS Control Organization, National Blood Transfusion Council, reverting back to the donors. But nowadays, it has been suggested, advised, may not be practiced all over the country, that if the danger disease is hepatitis B, C, and HIV, for malaria and syphilis, nothing much can be done because syphilis is going to stay in the blood, as they call it, scar in the blood. And malaria, it will be treated. It can be treated. But hepatitis B, C, and particularly HIV era, some 20 years back, reverting back to the patients, tracking down is recommended. Previous to that, any sample found positive has been discarded after maintaining the proper guideline. But now the time has come, well, 10, 15 years back, to trace back the positive persons. It was a screening test, whether really the test is really positive or not, particularly for the viral diseases, hepatitis B, C, and D, hepatitis B, C, and HIV. The donor who tested positive is being traced back, the history and mandatory test again done, reconfirmation test again done, and treatment is given accordingly as per national program for control of hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and HIV. That is there in the process. It is being practiced and it is happening in the country. Next.
Sir, please continue. We are hearing you. We are
Okay,
hearing you.
okay. After these 5 tests have been done, the blood is collected, and as Mr. Srimani has already stated, usually in the blood banks where there are facilities for component separation, these components are separated into 3-4 parts. One is RBC, concentrated RBC, plasma, fresh frozen plasma, and platelet concentrate. So these 3-4 components is being separated by the blood bank in the machines, and nowadays the already 3 component bags are being produced, and in the blood bank, before reaching the blood bank, the components can be also separated after mixing the blood. So this is very important. So 1 unit of donated blood can serve at least 3 persons if the components are separated properly and preserved properly. That is the point. And going back to other things, the myths. Myth was that, the persons, the donor with comorbidities, it's a very, very burning issues still in our country. Previously, some 5 years back, the concept was that a person with diabetes or hypertension should not donate blood. This concept is till now prevailing in the medical fraternity in our country. But as of 12th June 2021, the guideline has been published. A person, a patient, I should not say patient, a person with comorbidities like diabetes mellitus and hypertension can donate blood if his condition is well controlled with medication and he is physically and definitely mentally fit. There is no contraindication for this. The contraindication, I will go for the cons first. The cons for blood donation is this. These 5 diseases I have already mentioned: a mentally unstable patient and who is very much apprehensive, the underweight persons, and persons with some other social or physical problems. So these are the cons. These are the cons. But otherwise, a person otherwise healthy, with or without medication, there is absolutely no contraindication for donating blood. I will coming to the pros of the
Sir,
donation.
here I have one question.
Yeah.
Sir, it is said that during menstruation, women can't donate blood. How relevant it is, and whether it is a taboo myth or it is reality?
Did I say that during menstruation women can't donate blood? No.
No, you haven't said, but it's a myth or taboo. Something is
Or taboo.
is
It's a
said like
taboo.
that.
Menstruating. Well, I'm coming to point. Menstruating ladies. Well, after the attaining of age of 18. Previously, again, there was a bar in donating of the blood for the women folk twice a week, twice a year, and not 4 times a year. Nowadays, that bar has been lifted. A menstruating lady can donate blood 4 times a year, number one. Number two, menstruating lady donating blood should be treated as an absolutely normal phenomenon. I repeat, an absolutely normal phenomenon.
During menstruation.
Yeah,
days
why
of
not?
no
Why
harm.
not? If there is heavy menstruation, well, there is no harm unless she is physically incapacitated because of the heavy loss. Again, it varies from women to women. If I menstruate and I can be able to donate blood, there shouldn't be any contraindication. Again, I repeat, it is the quantity of the loss of blood during menstruation which varies from one woman to another. So I repeat these things depending on the physical and mental condition. Donating blood during menstruation per se is not a contraindication. Oligomeric persons, I mean to say, whose menstrual blood quantity and flow is less, jolly well, she can give blood. If some lady has got heavy menstrual blood, menorrhagia they call it, well, they can defer the blood donation for a couple of weeks' time. It again depends on the person's physical condition. But socially, taboo is a social condition, not a medical condition. This taboo should be removed. If you are fit, your body weight is okay, feeling okay, not menstruating heavily, you can donate a blood. Fine, there is no such harm. Then
Yes, sir.
Question?
You continue
Continue.
with
So,
your question.
pros. The pros of donation of blood. Number one, it is the more you do, the merrier. 4 times a year, you donate the blood. It simply puts your blood forming mechanism in the bone marrow into gear. It energizes your blood manufacturing unit in the body, inside the bone marrow, the red bone marrow. It triggers into the action, triggering the factory persons to create new genre of blood cells, RBC, WBC, platelet, and all. So it's an exercise, internal exercise of the human body by way of donating blood. So as we do the exercise, mental exercise, we do physical exercise to increase our capacity, to increase our quality of the muscle of our mind, of our body, of our physics. By donating blood 4 times a year, you simply increase the quality of blood formation inside your body, unless there is some other compelling circumstances, as I have already mentioned, for donating the blood. As simple as that. If there is no contraindication, give blood 4 times a year. No harm, nothing. Rather, it causes you to stay fit, to stay healthy. Well, previously, as Dr. Mondal has already said, in yesteryears, blood was letting out for a treatment of hypertension in various ways. One is letting the blood out from a vein. The other was applying leeches along the nape of the neck so that blood can be sucked out by the leeches. But these methods of treatment that naturally are no longer recommended. But what can be done? Promoting blood donation, letting people know. The more you give the blood 4 times a week, 4 times a year, which is not always possible, you stand to gain physically, hematologically, I should say.
Yes,
Next question.
sir, one more
বাংলাতেও বলতে পারি, পরে বলছি, আগে আমাদের আলোচনাটা কমপ্লিট হোক, তারপর।
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, after recovering from COVID,
Yes.
after recovering from COVID, what should be the gap? This is one question has come. Another question has come that how many days gap should be there for blood donation after taking COVID vaccination?
Good. I think Dr. Mondal has already answered this question.
Yes, sir.
Number one is this recommendation is changing. COVID, hitherto, we have come to know many things regarding COVID, which in last year we are totally unaware of. And with the introduction of vaccines since 16th of January in our country this year, again, we have learned a lot. When to donate blood after natural infection or after vaccination. So 14 days as of now, they say. It was 1 month, previously it was 1 month after the vaccination or normal natural infection, because after vaccination, adequate time should be allowed for the human body to produce the natural antibody inside the body. And the full blood, whatever is available with the person, the patient, either vaccinated or diseased, recovered patient, that adequate time should be given to the blood for generating the antibody against COVID. Because we very little know about the antibody of the COVID after vaccination or after disease. But now, every day we are learning from various sources by various methods of detecting the presence of antibody in the human blood. Previously, it was antigen, then it came antibody in the blood. Nowadays, it is called spike protein of the COVID virus inside the body, in the blood, to be precise, to know the degree of antibody produced. So the more we know, the more precisely we can say, we can declare that this should be the ideal gap between the vaccination and donating the blood. In this context, I must say, COVID convalescent plasma. COVID convalescent plasma means taking out the plasma of a person who has recovered from the disease, the natural disease, not vaccinated one. This plasma full of antibody was presumed to be, thought to be very effective in treating another patient who is not very much full of antibody against COVID in his or her blood. But nowadays, evidence is pouring up that CCP may not be that much effective. So recommendation is being wiped out from the standard treatment protocol. But CCP, to begin with, initially last year, was a standard treatment COVID convalescent plasma. It should be true for a natural infection, should be true for the artificial infection, that is vaccination. But we are yet to know the full thing. As the recommendation goes, as Dr. Mondal has already stated, 14 days is gap enough to balance the situation between the blood donation and the adequate formation of antibody after vaccination or after your natural infection of a prospective donor. If otherwise is okay, but there is a caveat. The donor post-infection, I mean COVID infection or post-vaccination, unless he or she is physically very much fit, should not be allowed. Like, suppose a person after natural infection, his lungs and heart is in a semi-decompromised state. I mean to say, the heart and lungs has not recovered fully, maybe the liver and kidneys as well. It is better to defer or postpone the donation of blood till he feels really good to donate the blood.
Sir, one more question regarding this. One first question is, sir, one study says that 45% COVID patients are asymptomatic.
Sorry, I didn't get you. COVID?
Yeah, one study says that 45% COVID patients are asymptomatic.
Yes.
Okay? If an asymptomatic person
Hmm.
donate his blood without knowing, and the blood collector also collect the blood without knowing that the person is affected COVID. Okay. Now the question is, if the blood is transmitted immediately, first one. Number two, after some time, what would be the effect? Is any research has been done on this? If yes, then what is the result?
It is too early, it is too premature to comment on this, but I must say the conceptual thing regarding the asymptomatic persons but COVID positive by RT-PCR or RAT. That is the question. Now, the COVID virus, COVID-19 virus, it gets entrance into the body through eyes, nose, and mouth. Doesn't gain entry or get access into the blood. So, antibody is definitely there in the blood, but the virus, you can hardly find the virus in the blood. Blood is not tested for COVID-19 virus. So the viri gain entry into the body through nose, eyes, nose, and mouth, 3 portal of entry, and get multiplied in the lungs, respiratory system. That's why it is called respiratory virus. Then the patient becomes positive, and the patient becomes patient only if he or she develops symptom. Before that, the blood should not contain any virus. The blood may contain a little bit of antibody if the body of the person gets time enough to react against the virus which has already entered into the lungs and started producing symptoms. So donating blood at that point of time should not possess any threat to the recipient of the blood. What at best it can do, the donor who is asymptomatic COVID positive without knowing that he is COVID positive, he remains a threat, a theoretical threat to the blood receiving persons. But collecting the blood, transportation of the blood, and handling that blood and transfusion of that blood to another person poses no threat. Poses no threat that COVID virus will be transmitted to another person. I must take this opportunity. There is a term known as transmission associated infections. Transfusion transmitted infections, or TTI. Transfusion transmitted infection. So far, COVID-19 virus has not included in the list of the disease or infection associated with transfusion of blood. Number one. Am I clear? But, hello?
Huh,
But-
sir, yes, sir, we can hear you.
Blood,
We can
but
hear you.
there is a caveat. Research
Uh-huh.
is yet to go a long way to definitely, conclusively prove that yes, this blood of an asymptomatic persons are not COVID patient. They are asymptomatic persons affected with the COVID. May not be, maybe that their blood contains high level of antibody titer, but that blood is not capable of transmitting the disease to a prospective donor because his blood is not containing any live virus. Only live virus can be transmitted, and if multiplied beyond some control, give rise to symptom. If treated properly, can be cured. Otherwise, the inevitable may come. But blood may not contain the infective agent COVID-19 virus. Otherwise, we would have been able to detect it in the blood itself. What we do, we measure the antibody produced against the virus and circulating in the blood. That is the Mother Nature's natural protective mechanism. We can measure the antibody against the virus, not the direct presence of virus in the blood, as far as
Yes, sir, we
COVID-19 is
Sir,
concerned.
next question, sir, my next question, that as you mentioned that hepatitis A, C, and HIV, that can be
Hepatitis B, C, and HIV, these three viruses.
can be transmitted through uh, blood. Okay.
Yes.
But I have other question. There is some other like leukemia. If a person is a leukemia, having leukemia, but he is not aware of that, and he donate blood, what will be the consequence?
Yes, it's a conjectural question, and my answer will also be conjectural. A leukemic patient, I should say in this case, a leukemic patient, without knowing his condition, may not be, because not everyone is every day examining his blood for the presence of leukemia or not. So if he donates blood, it is usually leukemic patients, if he has got some symptoms, will be tested and screened. Well, he will be debarred from donating blood. A leukemic patient, when the blood will be examined, the blood should be examined. The mandatory test, that is for malaria test, should be tested not through some reagent but directly under the microscope on a slide drawn from the sample of the blood, which was the practice in previous years. Nowadays, we depend all on antigen rapid test state. But malaria, the gold standard for testing the malaria is in the blood slide. I mean to say, when a collected sample of blood is tested for malaria in a blood slide, that blood slide will definitely detect the presence of leukemia as well, and the sample will be withheld before being transfused. But again, I repeat, a person with a leukemia, which is a white blood cell disorder, should have no problem in his fresh frozen plasma, should not have any problem with the platelet-rich case, should not have or little problem with the RBC, packed RBC. So depending on the component we need, we can definitely utilize this blood collected from a leukemic person, but ideally no leukemic patient should be allowed to donate blood, ideally. But unknowingly, if this happens, well, it should be tested. Leukemia is a malignancy of the blood, but before results are yet to come in, whether leukemic blood, even after component separation, if donated to somebody, initially it should save the life for which it is done. So the pros and cons of the persons once donated. Yes.
Sir, next thing is after malaria, after recovered
Yeah.
from malaria, what should be the gap? One question. Another thing is, what should be the ideal days gap after recovering from jaundice?
Good.
Jaundice and
Two
malaria.
questions. Ideal gap between infection or cure. Infection or cure vis-a-vis date of blood donation. One, infection is important, cure is more important. For a malaria parasite, if parasite is available and can be detected in the blood, that blood should be discarded.
Also,
So
sir, also include dengue.
I will come to that. I will come to that. I will come to that. Dengue has not yet been included in the malaria mandatory test. So unless you do the testing, we won't be able to know in the blood bank whether a sample is dengue positive or not. No. As of now, we cannot say. Leave aside dengue, we are concentrating on malaria. Malaria blood sample, if it contains the parasite itself, the blood should be discarded. Now the question is, if it is tested by antigen test, it may remain positive after up to 6 weeks, 42 days, even after cure of the patient. Suppose I do suffer from malaria for a couple of weeks' time, I have been completely treated and been declared cured. But even after that, the antibody test will remain positive in my sample of blood. That's why it is the standard recommendation. A diagnosed malaria patient should not give blood. Also, for the hepatitis, not jaundice, persons, the 6 months gap is recommended. There is also a but. Hepatitis B and C, I repeat, hepatitis B and C is so treacherous. If the patient becomes positive, before he is declared negative of both the condition, should be debarred from donating blood. Even if he donates the blood, the blood will be tested positive in the 5 mandatory tests and then subsequently discarded. Now this is a very burning issue, cross-cutting issue, crossroad issue. I'm a hepatitis B positive. But as I said, donating blood will be helpful for me. My blood will be, I think it's my opinion, it is not recommended in the guideline. My blood will be collected, a blood bank will be wasted, but I'll be benefited, and that blood will be definitely discarded. But it is not recommended, cannot be recommended so easily. So a HIV positive, hepatitis B positive, hepatitis C positive, if he remains positive, unless he is declared negative, should not be allowed to give blood. But how to know that? Before donation, by screening, history of jaundice, as you have uttered the term jaundice. So jaundice in the past 6 months should be discouraged to donate blood. As of now, it is being practiced. Hepatitis B, C. Many a times, jaundice may not be that much, well, explicit. Subclinical jaundice with the infection with hepatitis B and C may be there. Maybe there. So testing, laboratory testing after collection of the blood is the final say, whether that blood should be discarded or to be used. And for another question, that is for, yes, I've answered both of your questions, malaria and jaundice. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Next.
Sir, now I would request you to just make it understand. Collecting of one blood, Mr. Srimani also mentioned that one blood pouch of blood can be used for 4 patient. So
Yeah.
how the mechanism, how it is we do and everything that give us what I say is give us a knowledge of that. How one pouch of blood can be used for 4 person. So that I think people will be more encouraged that they are not helping one single person, they can help 4 people with the one pouch of blood.
Yes, 1 unit of blood. Nowadays, it is collected in the pouch. This pouch of blood, with the help of a machine called blood component separators. That machine is very costly. It is not available in all the blood banks. It is available in all the medical colleges, and many of the district hospitals have it, like in other districts of Hooghly and something. Medical College in Malda has got it. So this component separator machine, which is very costly, it automatically separates the components into the respective component of packed cell, I mean to say RBC, red blood corpuscles, the plasma component, the RBCs and fresh frozen plasma, so on and so forth. It is a completely mechanized process. No human being can do that with so precision. But the thought came into being, the development of machine dates back to our practice in our student days, when an unit of blood was kept stationary for a couple of hours time, and the supernatant fluid, the fluid above the collected RBCs, had been discarded, not to be used because there is no facilities for that, and the thick RBC was transfused to the persons, the anemic persons, as you have said initially. So thick RBC sediment had been in use to treat persons who are anemic, whose heart is decompromised, so that RBC, what is required, is being transfused and no fluid overload is done to his failing heart. From that concept, from that need, the development of component separation unit or machine, as they call it, was developed. And now each and every blood is being separated into 3 or 4 components and is being transfused for the needy persons who need it. Those, the burn patients, as for example, who needs the plasma, because there is severe loss of plasma, one component of the blood. So fresh frozen plasma is the need of the patient that has been transfused. Some other patient, as you have mentioned, dengue, he or she may need the platelet only. So only platelet to be given to that patient from single unit of blood, single unit of donor, single person donor. And the RBC, I have already said, those who are severely anemic and pregnant women whose heart is already compromised, only RBCs, we call it packed RBC, should be transfused without inviting any other hazard associated with whole blood transfusion. So there are 2 terms. Previously it was whole blood transfusion. Now it has been divided into component separation, component transfusion. The medical science is advancing like anything. Any question?
Yes, sir. Again, one thing, sir, plasma donation. This we are hearing this thing. Plasma donation. Who is COVID recovered? They was donating plasma. Now government has just restricted it. I mean, it is not more permissible. But we used to see that people are donating plasma after recovering from COVID. So in this case, only the plasma is collected, or entire blood is collected and the plasma is just separated and put it to the COVID patient?
What a question. Excellent. There are one machine is called component separator, as we have already said. There, as it is practiced in our medical college in Malda or anywhere, we have to separate the blood into 3 components, one of which is plasma. And definitely post-COVID patient, it is rich in COVID antibody. That is called COVID convalescent plasma. But as science has advanced like anything, in Kolkata, in 2-3 centers, the whole blood is being collected from a person. Only the plasma, which is rich in COVID antibody, is retained, and the rest of the component like RBC, WBC, and your platelet, again returned to the donors. That is unique, very unique. In the same sitting, you just only donate the plasma what is required, again getting back your RBC and platelet. It cannot be separated in the body itself, never to be separated in the vein. The vein, the whole blood comes out, goes to a machine, only plasma is separated out from that in post-COVID situations, and the rest of the RBC and platelets, etc., is again given back. I use the term given back to the donor.
So same thing happened, if I'm not, same thing happened for WBC case for the leukemia patient.
No. I'm not a bit sure. For leukemia patient, the leukemia means it is the malignancy of the. There are so many types of leukemia. Some are very malignant, some are not. The patient survival
Sir,
years
now
maybe.
I have something different to ask you. Sir, as we know that after death, our blood is being concentrated very fast.
After what?
Is it sir? After
After
death,
what?
after death, mara jabar por death.
After death, well, the blood. What is that? Blood is
get concentrated very fast, right?
concentrated means.
I mean, it's get is clotting very fast.
It's very simple. What is death? It is the complete cessation of the heart and lung function.
Yes.
As Mr. Srimani, no, I will answer you. I will answer your question. I got your. I can preempt your question. As Mr. Srimani, sorry.
This is my not. Let me finish my entire question and then you answer. First thing
Okay.
is my question is if the person is brain death, if the person has brain death, all his body is functioning, right? In that case, he can donate. The person can donate entire. I mean, heart, lungs, kidney, and entire organ. So, what about blood? Is it possible that we can take the blood also?
I will answer this question. Very good question. I must say, it's intriguing question. A brain dead person who is lying as a brain dead one, the target should be for collecting his eyes, if it is possible, the 2 kidneys, possible, lungs, if possible, heart, possible, liver, possible. I'm not very sure of any other organs of the body, but the blood should be circulating. Prerequisite is a circulating blood. That's why after normal death, blood collection cannot be done, should not be allowed. Regarding brain death, we have to prioritize our medical resources. We should not concentrate on collecting the blood from a brain dead person. This blood will be required to maintain the organs, which is the prospective donor organ, which will be treated as a prospective donor organ till their process of taking out of the donor's body is completed. I repeat, when a brain dead person, the family members gives consent that organ should be taken out, that organs has to be kept alive as near as normal by artificially maintaining the circulation with the help of ventilation and cardiopulmonary resuscitative process. So no question of taking blood from that brain dead patient. We should concentrate on taking out the liver, the kidneys, the lungs, the heart, maybe pancreas in near future, we don't know, the eyes. So after all the organs have been taken out and even your heart and lungs are taken out, there is no question of taking the blood. The blood will not remain there. And for normal death, well, the blood remains stagnant. As Mr. Srimani has said, Sir William Harvey, who first demonstrated the circulation of the blood inside the body. For male, it is 5 to 5.5 liters. For female, it is 4.5 to 5 liters. Very intriguing questions. Very intriguing questions. I must put a question and try to answer this. Suppose a person is suffering from hyperuricemia, gout, we call it, normal, uricemic gout. I can demonstrate you by mathematical calculation. By donating 1 unit of blood, he may be symptomatically relieved of his pain, because by donating 1 unit of blood, the total amount of uric acid in his body, which was giving rise to symptom, may be going down to, again depending on the concentration at which the symptoms were developed, may be going down to the asymptomatic level. I have seen patients with that. Again, some cross-cutting issues. Whether a patient should be, a donor should be allowed on full stomach or empty stomach. Thumb rule is that one should not be on full stomach, neither should be on empty stomach. Some food, the stomach should be at rest. If you take full meal, the blood will be collected at the stomach. So there may be, not contraindication, but better not to do it. Better not. Some doctors have seen vomiting may occur. Yes, it may happen. As Dr. Mondal said, if adequate persuasion, adequate rest is not there, there may be blackout. Vasovagal attack may occur. Blaming the donation process of blood unnecessary. So adequate precaution, adequate preventive measures should be taken for any blood donation related minor side effects. It should be there. The more we learn, the more we study, the better it is for us.
Sir,
Any question?
One more question. Mr. Srimani, in the beginning only, Mr. Srimani said that the first blood transmission was from sheep to a human being, and the boy survived. Okay, it is the preliminary level. So,
Yeah.
and there is no artificial way, there is no mechanism that we can develop blood in the laboratory. So we have to depend on human blood only. So at the first time, if a person can survive on the sheep blood, so why we have not tried that, and what is the research that we want to know, and why only we are depending on human blood?
Good question again. You are very much clear. You are very much clear. I may not be that clear in answering your question. Number one, as they call it classically, blood for blood. Second adage, human blood for human blood. Third adage, human blood, same group to same group. Fourth adage, same group of Rh positive to Rh positive. Next adage, Rh negative to Rh positive, not the other way around. So there are blood groups of, as Mr. Srimani has already mentioned, 4 types of group: O, AB, B, and A. And there are 2 other groups, rhesus groups, Rh positive, Rh negative. Thumb rule is that Rh is rhesus monkey antigen and antibody, mainly antigen. This is antigen. Rh positive, I am Rh positive patient. That means I have got the rhesus monkey antigen in my blood circulating. If I give this Rh positive blood to an Rh negative person, antibody against Rh will be developed, killing the RBCs. There will be mismatch. The question you put is very simple. If a sheep's blood can give life to a human being, but we don't know how many hours that patient was survived. If it was a blood loss for blood loss, well, transfusion of sheep's blood of 1 unit, 2 units is an experimental thing. It is not a therapeutic one. May give rise to the life of the patient for a couple of hours time. It's a chance occurrence. Persons who are experimenting them. Sheep are mammal, we are mammal. But sheep's blood cannot be a match for human blood. Even with so many tests, O negative is the universal donor. Why? This blood is more or less the most neutral blood available in the human race. So O negative blood can be given out, a very precious blood. We don't want to waste it. But ideally, what my blood group dictates, I should be given priority that blood group only after proper cross-matching and grouping. There's a technical term, grouping and cross-matching. Same group of blood may not match between the blood donor and the recipient. That's why needing the testing, mandatory testing of grouping and cross-matching. First of all, it should be of same group. Secondly, it should match between the donor blood and the recipient's blood. That's why time is taken after collecting the sample of the prospective recipient at the blood bank. Because of this, cross-matching and grouping needs some time. Maybe in some near future, I must say with confidence and with the ray of hope, with the advancement of science, very minimum time will be required for this grouping and cross-matching between the donor's blood and the recipient's blood. The sample will be subjected to the test. Within 5 minutes, the result will come. Machine will tell, hitherto it is done by the human's eyes. Machine will come, will precisely tell the donor blood and the recipient blood is perfectly matched, and the blood will be given. So, sheep's blood is not a substitute. As you know, in 1914, Banting and Best first isolated insulin from the pancreas of a dog. It was never utilized in a commercial manner. It saved the life of a patient, but very temporarily with many side effects. Then we came to use the insulin from the cows, bovine insulin, they call it. Then we upgraded to porcine insulin from pigs. Now, genetic engineering has given us human insulin. So we are going from one step to another. Every experiment has got its limitations, and again, every experiment has got some vistas of new scientific concept, new knowledge.
Thank you,
No
sir.
blood can be manufactured. No blood can be manufactured in the factory, notwithstanding any development of the science, because blood is a natural component full with so many antibodies. You cannot antibodies in an artificially created blood, what Japan has tried without any success. So no, it can't be. As mother's milk cannot be produced in any factory, same with human blood. It's a corollary.
But it's in future we can, I think medical science will do that also. Sir,
What blood?
thanks for
Artificial
all
blood
the-
is there. Yes, artificial blood is there. But for artificial blood, you have to manufacture artificial RBC. You have to manufacture artificial platelet. You have to manufacture artificial WBC. You have to manufacture artificial plasma, which is available in the name of Hemaxel. That is an albumin only. It will be prohibitively costly. Easier option is donate as long as you are healthy 4 times a year to another person.
Sir.
Separate into 3 components.
Sir, lastly, thanks for all the discussion. Lastly, আমার একটা রিকোয়েস্ট আছে, সেটা হচ্ছে আমরা এখন যেটা বললাম, আমরা অনেক কিছু ডিসকাস করলাম, এত কিছু নয়, কিন্তু সিম্পলি ব্লাড ডোনারদের মোটিভেট করার জন্য আমি আপনাকে একটু রিকোয়েস্ট করব বাংলায় কিছু বলতে, কারণ আমাদের অনেক ভিউয়ার্স আছে যারা বাংলায় কমফোর্টেবল, একটু যারা ব্লাড ডোনেট করতে ইচ্ছুক, কিন্তু আগেন আমি একটা কথা বলবো, এই মিথ, ট্যাবু এবং অন্যান্য কারণে তারা আসছে না, করছে না, তাদের উদ্দেশ্যে একটু বাংলায় একটু বলুন। আমরা যেগুলো
Thank you very much. I'll also be comfortable in Bengali. আমি বাংলাতেই কমফোর্টেবল বোধ করব, কিন্তু কিছু টার্ম হয়তো ইংরেজিতে বেরিয়ে যেতে পারে। এগেন আই উইল রিপিট ইন বেঙ্গলি, মানে আমি বাংলাতেই বলবো। প্রথম কথা, রক্ত দেবেন 18 থেকে 65 বয়সের মধ্যে সুস্থ নারী এবং পুরুষরা বছরে 4 বার করে 3 মাস অন্তর। বছরে 4 বার মানে পরপর 4 মাসে দিয়ে দেওয়া যাবে না। বছরে 4 বার মানে এটা বোঝায় যে 3 মাস ছাড়া ছাড়া একজন এলিজিবল হয়, যোগ্যতা অর্জন করে দ্বিতীয়বার ব্লাড দেওয়ার জন্যে। তাহলে 18 থেকে 65। কেন 18? কারণ অনুমতি দেওয়ার বয়স 18 আমাদের দেশে। কেন 65? কারণ 65-র ওপরে ব্লাডের কোয়ালিটি আস্তে আস্তে কমতে শুরু করে। এইটা একটা গেল। 2 হচ্ছে গরমকাল, শীতকাল, বর্ষাকাল বলে কোনো ব্যাপার নাই। যতক্ষণ আমাদের শরীর ঠিক থাকবে, আমরা সুস্থ থাকবো মানসিকভাবে এবং শারীরিকভাবে, আমরা রক্ত দিতে পারবো। যদি আমাদের হঠাৎ করে অন্য কোনো রকম অসুখ না হয়, বিশেষ করে যে অসুখগুলো রক্ত বাহিত হয়ে যায়, যেমন ম্যালেরিয়া, যেমন কিছু হেপাটাইটিস মানে যকৃতের অসুখ ইত্যাদি ইত্যাদি। 3 নম্বর, রক্ত দেওয়ার আগে একদম খালি পেটে আসা যাবে না, জল খেতে হবে, খাবার খেতে হবে, একদম ভরপেটে বিরাট ভাত টাত খেয়ে এলাম, তাতেও অসুবিধা হতে পারে। আমাদের কিন্তু এটা দুটোর মধ্যে একটা সাজুজ্য বা ব্যালেন্স রেখে আসতে হবে। খুব গরম পড়লে স্বাভাবিকভাবেই ছায়ার জায়গা থেকে বিশ্রাম নিয়ে জল পান করে, কারণ রক্ত কিছুটা যাওয়ার পরে যদি ঘাম দিয়ে অনেকটা বেরিয়ে যায়, তাহলে যেটাকে আমরা বলি যে ভেসো ভেগাল, মানে হঠাৎ করে মাথায় রক্তটা কমে গেল, রক্ত চলাচল, আমাদের মাথা ঘুরে আমরা শুয়ে পড়তে হলো, জ্ঞান হারিয়ে ফেললাম, যদিও সেটা কোনো ক্ষতিকর নয়, সঙ্গে সঙ্গে চলে আসে। এর চিকিৎসাই হচ্ছে শুইয়ে দেওয়া, জল খাওয়ানো, সুস্থ হয়ে যাওয়া ইত্যাদি। তারপরের যুক্তি হচ্ছে রক্ত দেওয়ার পরে এই রক্ত, যেটা আমাদের মন্ডল সাহেব বলেছেন, এটা 3 সপ্তাহের মধ্যেই কিন্তু আস্তে আস্তে এই কম্পোনেন্ট গুলো সব রিপ্লেনিশ হতে শুরু করে। তারপরে ফুল ফ্লেজেড, যেহেতু আরবিসি 120 দিন বাঁচে, 3 মাস, 90 দিন ইজ টাইম এনাফ, ইউ ক্যান গিভ ইট। কারণ 90 দিনের পরে কিছু আরবিসি আবার, মানে লোহিত রক্তকণিকা, এগুলো আবার বয়স হয়ে যায়। 120 দিন যার আয়ু, সে তো 90 দিন বাদে একটু বুড়ো হবেই। তো সেই জন্য 90 দিন বাদে বাদে নেব আমরা, 4 মাস বাদে নয়, 3 মাস বাদে এটা আমরা নিতে পারি। আচ্ছা, আর হচ্ছে যত রকম ভাবে সুস্থ সবল থাকা যায়, কোন রকম অস্বাস্থ্যকর অভ্যেস না করা যায় তত ভালো। যেমন অতিরিক্ত মদ্যপান না করা, ধূমপানকে সম্পূর্ণভাবে বর্জন করা, কোন রকম আনহাইজেনিক বা অস্বাস্থ্যকর অভ্যেসকে প্রশ্রয় না দেওয়া, সেইরকম করলেই আমরা সুস্থ থাকবো এবং তখন আমরা রক্ত দিতে পারবো। যদি কিছু কিছু অসুখ থেকে সদ্য ভুগে উঠি, যেমন কিনা ম্যালেরিয়া, যেমন কিনা জন্ডিস, হেপাটাইটিস A B C D E, এই 5 রকমই, তারপর অন্তত 6 মাস রক্তদান থেকে আমরা বিরত থাকবো, আমাদের নিজেদের জন্য এবং যারা রক্ত নেবেন তাদের জন্যও বেশি করে। আর কি, রক্ত দান কিন্তু দান, ইটস এ ডোনেশন, এটা দান। গ্রহণ কি হবে? সুস্থ সবল শরীর নিজের জন্য দান করছি রক্ত, আমরা প্রতিদানে কি পাচ্ছি? নিজের শরীর স্বাস্থ্য। যাকে দান করছি, 1 জন বা 3 জন বা একাধিক জনকে, তাদের দরকার, তাদের সেটা দিলে লাইফ সেভিং সাপোর্ট, জীবন রক্ষাকারী একটি দান আমি করলাম, তার বদলে কোনো জিনিস নেওয়াটাও গুনাহ হবে। কোনো অর্থকরী কোনো গিফট স্ট্রিক্টলি অ্যালাউড নয়, তবু অনেক জায়গায় দেয়া হয়, থালা, বাটি, গ্লাস, বালতি, প্রেসার কুকার, সো অন এন্ড সো ফোর্থ। এতে ভালো লাগে, দিয়েও নাম টাম করা যায়, কিন্তু রক্তদানের সঙ্গে এর কোনো সম্পর্কটা থাকা একেবারেই বাঞ্ছনীয় নয় এবং এটা করাটা নিয়ম বিরুদ্ধ। আমি আবার বলি, নিয়ম বিরুদ্ধ। তাহলে ডোনেশন কথাটা আর হয় না। আর একটা কথা বলি, যেটা বলা হয়নি তখন, এক্সচেঞ্জ ডোনেশন রেয়ারলি হয়। আপনি দতা নিয়ে আসুন তবে রক্ত দেব, এই সিচুয়েশন যেন না হয়। ব্লাড ব্যাংকে রক্ত থাকবে, দরকারের সময় বাড়ির লোকেরা দাতা কোত্থেকে খুঁজতে যাবেন? খুব স্বাভাবিকভাবেই 5 সপ্তাহ বাদে যে রক্ত কালেক্ট করা হয়েছিল, সংগ্রহ করা হয়েছিল 5 সপ্তাহ আগে, সেটা নষ্ট হবে, তাতে কোনো ক্ষতি নেই। কম্পোনেন্ট সেপারেশনের পরে রক্তের উপাদানকে পৃথকীকরণের ফলে কিন্তু এই রক্ত নষ্ট হওয়াটা কিন্তু অনেকাংশেই কমে গেছে। তবু ন্যাচারাল নিয়মে শরীরের ভেতরে যে রক্তটা নষ্ট হয়, সেটা তো একটা পাউচের ভেতরে থাকলে হতেই পারে, সেটাকে ডিসকার্ড করতে হবে নিয়ম মেনে। সেটাতে কোনো অন্যায় নয়, অপরাধ নয়। কিছু কিছু জায়গায় নেগলেক্টের কারণে সেই রক্ত এক্সপায়ারি হওয়া রক্ত অনেক সময় বাইরে চলে আসে, হইয়েই হয়, এত হইয়েই করে কিছু নেই। সেই এক্সপায়ারি হওয়া রক্তটাকে ভালোভাবে পরিশুদ্ধ করে, স্টেরিলাইজ করে, নির্দিষ্ট পদ্ধতি মেনে সেই রক্তগুলিকে ডিসপোজ করতে হয়, বায়োমেডিক্যাল ওয়েস্টের নিয়ম মেনে করতে হয়। আমাদের সবাইকে সজাগ থাকতে হবে যেন এগুলো সবাই আমরা মেনে চলি। যত সচেতনতা বাড়বে, তত আমরা নিরোগ, সুস্থ, সবল থাকবো। একটা কোয়েশ্চেন দেখতে পাচ্ছি, how antibodies are formed quick in human bodies, please tell. Well, antibodies, it is a natural phenomena. Antibodies basically is a protein. When our body is exposed to antigen may be of different nature. naturally with the available protein in the T cell and B cell, they call it. Antibodies are synthesized naturally in the human body. Synthesized naturally in the human body against a particular antigen, which are more often than not is a protein in nature. Antibody is also a protein in nature. Antibody and antigen, it is varying 2 units. Antibody, when overpowers the antigen, the body gets cured of the disease. When antigen overpowers the antibody, the patient becomes sick and may die. Sometimes antigen antibody reaction is detrimental to the human body. It causes damage to the kidney, maybe sometimes in liver, maybe in the heart, maybe in the lungs. Again, it depends on the myriad of the antigen and the antibody that is produced in response. Mir, yes. I think you are satisfied, Mr. Mir? Okay. Can't hear you. Nafisa, can't hear you.
Thank
Yes.
you, sir.
Deputy 2 is there. If I make any mistake in my comment, please rectify me. Dr. Mondal sir.
One more ques-
Acha, Afranil Das, should someone with O negative blood group donate 4 times here? Well, a very beautiful question, I must say. Mr. Das, suppose I am O negative blood group. Should I donate 4 times a year? As I've already explained, a collected blood, the shelf life of a collected or donated blood in the pouch is maximum 5 weeks. So nowadays it has been recommended globally and more so in our country, because O negative blood is rare in our country. It is more frequently found in the European population. So it is recommended that there should be regionally names of the persons who have got O negative blood in their body. And in case of need, persons with name and number, mobile number, should be contacted in case of need, so that they can come and donate the blood. Otherwise, what may happen, if I donate blood today, after 5 weeks, the blood, if not utilized, if not recommended, if not required, it will be automatically, well, lost, destroyed. After that, if somebody needs that, again, I cannot donate after 5 weeks. I will need 12 weeks. So, to make up the prospective loss or deficit during that 7-week period, it is recommended not to donate blood regularly by the O negative persons who are otherwise healthy. Rather, they may donate 1 or 2 times, but it should be kept in the mind that his blood is more precious, so he may need to donate it in case of emergency at dead of night, and he should be contacted over the phone so that he can come and donate the blood in case of emergency, the O negative blood. I think you are okay. Ajat Singh, what is the ideal gap of blood donation, sir? As
Sir, we have
already discussed.
Just তবু একটা বলে
Yes, yes.
still tell one thing.
Ideal gap of blood donation is, I have said, 4 times a week means 3 months gap. Literally 3 months.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Banerjee. Thank you, Mr. Mondal. And thank you, Mr. Srimani. It was really interactive session. I must thank my viewers also for hearing me, for listening us, and for your questions. If you have more question, you can put in our Facebook. We will get back to you definitely with the expert comments. আপনাদের যদি আরো কিছু প্রশ্ন থাকে আপনারা ফেসবুকে এই ডিসকাশনের তলায় লিখতে পারেন, আমরা আবার আপনার এই নিশ্চয়ই সেই প্রশ্নের উত্তর দেওয়ার চেষ্টা করব। ধন্যবাদ। আমরা অন্য প্রোগ্রাম নিয়ে আবার ফিরে আসবো খুব তাড়াতাড়ি।
আপনাদেরও ধন্যবাদ। Thank you very much. Thank you viewers, thank you listeners for the patient hearing. But I must say, what we have discussed, what we have said today is always subject to change and upgradation with the passage of time. What I say today may not be valid after 6 months. It may be upgraded to a newer level of knowledge. So far, this is the latest position. I hope we'll be able to cope up with that. Thank you very much. Thank you, our
Thank-
co-speakers, co-discussion, and the great applause to the organizer in chief, Ms. Nafisa Yasmin. I know her, and she always dragged her own subject into the discussion. Like Sahachari, it was Sahachari. It would have been glad to discuss something on that. But menstruation should not be a taboo. That is the take-home message from this panel discussion today. Be it blood donation, be it worshipping, be it normal activity, be it whatever it is, until it is very much compelling to remain less active during those 4-5 days. A question came out. Ajat Singh, thank you, sir. You are most welcome anytime.
Okay, sir. Everyone giving us thanks. Now we has come to the end of the session. Now we are winding up. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. You can end the session or we can leave